Adaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Prachadine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In the back there, shh. Thank you very much. You didn't move the whole time? Pretty amazing. Well, for those of you that have not taken part in a Japa retreat before, this is a common kind of closing exercise. Shh, children. The closing exercise where devotees who extended themselves in a devotional way to make your best efforts to absorb yourselves in the chanting of the holy name. The opportunity is here to share what your experience was. And, it can be highs and lows and whatever it is that you'd like to share. Because it's a journey and we're in the company of other Vaishnavas who appreciate other Vaishnavas. Krishna's in the center. What your experience was in associating with Krishna through chanting of the holy name today. How many in the room, how many were able so far today, because there's more hours in the day, to complete 64 rounds? Wow. Okay. So you don't have to be a 64 round person as of this hour. But supposing you've chanted something less than 64 and you are inspired by what you did and you want to continue, you can volunteer that also. This, for me, this month of December is 4 Japa retreats. Phoenix, Houston, Central New Jersey, and Portland. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm looking forward to the next 64 round day and the next 64 round day, and maybe a boost in my chanting will be a fruit of that. I'm looking forward to. And in Houston, just some sharing, their plan, their standard is their 64 round day begins at midnight. They open the temple room. It's a large temple room, the large temple room, at 12 o'clock. That started largely from Shyamasundar Prabhu, because he's the Ra-Ras, not 64, but 164. He just keeps going. So he wanted, and many, because of his utsaha, many people joined him at midnight, and then continue. So the results of numbers of rounds is significant bump upwards for the Houston devotees. He's not there. He was in the Govardhan retreat at Govardhan with Purijan and Sachinandan Swami and this Swami and that Swami and a bunch of Swamis. You see, he sent me pictures of the cast of thousands. So, however many, and what your experience was. And if there's something after we're done here this evening, then you can share that. I plan to complete X. It's just sharing. So this is a very special temple room. There's 2 clocks, neither of which tell the right time. But my watch tells the right time. So it's 10 after, and we're going to end at Arti at 5 o'clock. So who's the first person that would like to share with others what your experience was? Okay. Yeah, sure. You got the microphone. Go for it.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. My experience on this one, first of all, is your presence. Presence of such a disciple of Srila Prabhupada leading this. So, after many years, although there was regular chanting that I was doing of my own levels, but unfortunately, maybe Krishna was not making an arrangement or I was not making an effort. That's, questionable situation. But this time everything worked together where I could actually be here. And one thing that I experienced was that chanting on your own can be a struggle because the mind fights with you. But chanting in the association of the devotees, you can simply tell your mind that look around, it's not only you. Everyone is quiet, you also keep quiet. So it's easier process to control your mind when you do in the association of the devotees, because the devotees' environment itself is like I would say shackle that just shackles your mind. It doesn't allow it to go anywhere. So that's one of the experience. The next experience was that, as we have been hearing many times, and you have mentioned in your class yesterday that if you focus a goal, if you don't have a goal, then it's hard to do this type of thing. So today I said in the beginning to my mind that 64 is the goal. So if you don't get to that number, there is nothing that you can accomplish. So it was a fight between me and the mind had to know that it's a 64, the goal. And also I remember another thing was that don't chant as I have to chant, but chant as that is my opportunity to be next to Krishna. So I was keeping these 2 things in the mind.
Very different.
And everything was very enjoyable. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
And the number, what's the magic number so far today?
Well, I have gone to 65, just adding 1 in case there was some mistake made in between.
Okay. Thank you. I have many thoughts, but I'm going to reserve my many thoughts as we go along. Maybe we'll do a recap at the end. It's sadhu sangha. We're dadati, pratigranati, goyam akyati, prichati, like that. So it's a type of loving exchange, what we're doing right now for the next while. Sharing of your experience. Who would like to volunteer?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. So, this is my 3rd Japa retreat.
Okay.
First one is 23, 24 and 25. So last year, December 15th, Japa retreat in Phoenix. On that day, I achieved the goal. It was a very special 72 rounds on that day, last year. And when I went home around 8:30 p.m. on that day, I made a short notes that, okay, I will make like this monthly once. I prepared myself.
Nice.
But January, February, March, all the way to the June happened. Within 6 months, I tried. I reached like 18, 20, 22, but I never reached beyond that.
Okay.
And in the month of June we are blessed with a baby, and after that even 16 rounds also become little difficult because of the time consumption and exercise. And after that, I just as a mind, in my mind the thought is there to finish or at least once in a whole 12 months, but never achieved that goal. And today, by somehow again with your association, temple environment, the classes, I did 66 rounds.
66.
66. Yes, there is a reason why less than last year, because my last year wake up time is 2 a.m. but today I woke up at 3 a.m. 1 hour gone over there. And before lunch, 45 minutes we spent for Pushpanjali. At that time also I did not chant it. So because of that I was at 66, otherwise I would have made a little bit more.
Okay.
So bottom line, Maharaj, no matter how many plans I will make my own, it's very difficult to achieve without the devotee association. Spiritual masters, mercy and temple environment, those are the key things in order to achieve the goal.
I'd like to give some feedback.
Sure.
There's more? You got the
No,
mic?
I'm good.
You're good? You sure? One of those few things is an achievable goal is a good goal. And the special of circumstances to recreate the special may not. So then there's the sense of, I failed, or one of those negative emotion things. I couldn't, boo-hoo. So it's a good idea. I am a firm believer and to some degree at least practicer of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's statement. Progress is incrementalism. Progress is a series of small steps in the right direction. So how does that fit you? Each of us, how does it fit? So for example, Ekadasi. And so on Ekadasi days, something that's doable, and then you set the goal and it's doable. And if you need, or if it helps, so that's sufficient, then you make some arrangement where there are others that have an Ekadasi Vrata and virtually or in person or some whatever, because life is different each Ekadasi. Some period of time, you do a Zoom call and you're chanting Japa. That's basically what Shyam Sundar does. It's a Zoom call. And some little pep talk and some energizer, but it's the main fare is virtual. So come up with, these are just suggestions, and you do something that matches you and is sustainable. And then make your effort, because it's sustainable, make your effort, and then so Ekadasis is a nice, because it's also very auspicious. And then you can read about, from the Ekadasi book, or read from Shastra, or gather scriptural evidence that says how important Ekadasi is. That's a suggestion. Incrementalism applied to, because it's an antidote to stagnation, called complacency. The refrain that devotees often speak. I'm talking too much. I'll try to talk less. But I'm not progressing, and they're not progressing has reasons. And we went through some, and then here's some other ones. Just, I'm comfortable. I don't want to get out of my comfortable zone. So I'm comfortable. And then the comfortable becomes less than, then standards start to slacken. a new devotee's standards, and then at 5-year, 10-year devotee, something happens. If they're complacent, the standard goes down. In other, eating habits and of offering obeisances habits and other, devotional principles, they slacken. So that doesn't, you don't become caught in that dynamic, something that's doable. And then the support structure to help you do that which is doable. And then the same Patanjali system. Regularly, over a prolonged period of time, with confidence it's going to get you to where you want to go. Do you remember that presentation from... Yeah. Same as Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So it's a little bit, and then you're always looking ahead. A person's in the material world. Like a kid in grade school, they're thinking what's going to be next with career or with life. It's you're looking forward to what's preparing now for what's next, and then there's the final exam, death, and where are you going? It's what you're doing today is going to help determine where you're going tomorrow. So incrementalism, and then a support structure that helps. It's not just resting on you. And your unsteady determination, sometimes and sometimes not, and sometimes not. Association, sadhu sangha. In little steps, sustainable steps. That's progress. Okay. Yes, I'm hoping from the ladies' side. There's 2 hands. You got it. Go ahead, and then she'll.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj. So I chanted for 8 hours.
Have you? This is your first time.
This is my first time.
You chanted for 8 hours.
8 hours.
And
I didn't count because that was distracting me. So
no counting, just hours.
Just hours.
Okay.
Usually it takes me 1 hour to do 8 rounds. So I think I hit my target. I'll do a couple of rounds just in case to make sure that I reach the number. So my experience was I beat my mind a lot with shoes whenever it got distracted.
Yeah.
So that helped. And the classes helped definitely. Today's class helped a lot. Sankalpa, that was the main thing that helped me. Because setting the goal and looking at it and remembering it when I got distracted, that kept me in the path. That kept me going. So overall, I definitely got the hope, motivation and confidence to move forward.
And the total was 5 hours.
8 hours.
8 hours. 8 hours. Wow, that's big.
Yeah.
First time, 8
First
hours.
time. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
A recommendation. It's not a nuisance or a distraction. It's a standard. Counterbeats. And Prabhupada did. Here's a Prabhupada story. You like Prabhupada stories? Everybody likes Prabhupada stories. This is from Shruta Kirti. Shruta Kirti was one of Prabhupada's many years personal servants. He got to the point where he would travel with 2 other people. Secretary, who was a GBC in rotation for a month, and then a secretary that stayed with him. Excuse me, a servant that stayed with him and took care of necessities. So this is Shruti Kirti's story. He was one of those servants. Very humble. But you scratch the surface and the humility is still there, But he has many, many, many nice stories. So one of those many, many nice stories was one time he was in Prabhupada's room in Los Angeles, and Prabhupada was chanting on his beads with bead bag, and he held the bead bag up, moved the counter bead, so it was his own vrata, whatever that was, I didn't ask. And Prabhupada said, I finished my rounds and I can do whatever the hell I want. And pump the desk. And Shrutikirti laughed. Because Prabhupada was imitating disciples that think, I did my vrata, now I'm protected so I can do what I like. He was dismissing that mentality. But, but he used counter beads. There's a reason. Step in that direction. Behind you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I think chanting Japa is really hard even for initiated devotees. Then what to speak of uninitiated devotees like myself. But I think thanks to your presence and your blessings and all the 3 days of work, I think prayers flowed this time. I think last time I compared to, I think my feeling was I was fighting with my mind all the time. Surrender was there, but the mind was just an enemy. It just wouldn't calm down to go deeper, to surrender. But this time I think, and the deepest gratitude to Yamuna Prabhu, because he mentioned about self-care and not chastising your mind if your mind thoughts are very negative. So I think I've been working on it for about a year since the last Japa retreat, to be okay with self-care. If I felt hungry, I ate, started chanting again. If I needed water, took care of it, came back to chanting again. Things just seemed much easier this time with that self-care as well. So I wanted to add that and appreciate Yamuna Prabhu's journey map. It was super useful.
I'll share that with him, because he's not here, because he had to go back to work tomorrow. So do you have any idea of how many rounds you completed?
I'm on 62.
62.
Two more to go.
Yay! That's a first for you.
It's my first.
Yeah.
I could only do 44 last time, barely.
Okay. Okay. We won't go. I'm tempted to go into this. Some people say, "Oh, what's the point?" This number game, and they have different ways of casting aspersions on the mindfulness of how you're doing. But there's a purpose behind. It helps sustain one's determination and one's vrata. So you'll have time. You'll complete the remainder, I'm sure. Anyone else? We're at 4:30.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for being here. This Japa retreat was third for me, third Japa retreat.
Okay.
Today I feel myself as so matured in chanting, because I categorize myself as three: mind, body and soul. So I did Sankalpam with my brain to my soul, with the help of my body, to help me in chant 64 rounds.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, that I wrote yesterday as Sankalpam.
I could tell.
I wrote myself
I
to
could
my
tell.
mind.
I could tell.
Because today, even though my son is not here, I was keep thinking like whether he had his lunch or not, breakfast or not. Then I was like, I should take care of only 2 things. His bath, breakfast, lunch. That's it, nothing else. Except that, I completely ignored my mind and I stopped responding to it. So, I only have my soul and my body together now. I'm like, I don't know. Okay, it keep thinking something, but I'm not aware of what it is thinking.
You're not aware of?
Where my mind is, like where it's going. So it's only if some thoughts comes, I'm pressing my beats hard so that my body can feel, my fingers can feel, and come back to the chanting, and then chant. That way, it helped me focus. It helped me finish my rounds on time. Because I want to confess you that I finished 64. Last 2 times I did not. First Japa retreat, I hardly did 33 or 36 when this reflections happening, when we are talking back to you. Then I was like, can I finish it 30 more rounds after going back home? No, I can't. So last Japa retreat, I did 50 or something like that, and I went back home and finished 64. But today, I want to say, because of you, I finished my 64 rounds.
Well, purification comes of its own. It's not like someone gives that to you, but association certainly helps. That's I won't deny that one. Association certainly helps. So, we'll see you again next year, huh?
Sure.
And in between now and next year, you have some kind of target and sangha, so because there are devotees that would want to do something similar. So, create some forum where those that want to go forward can go forward together. There's ways to do it, especially virtual ways. Go ahead. You wanted to say something?
I wish Samsundar Prabhu, because last 2 Japa retreats, his words, his intentions were so strong. So today, the way he told, like, chant first set of rounds to the legs of Krishna, remembering at the lotus feet. Second 16th set to his middle part of the body. Third set to the face, and whole 4th set to the body, whole body.
Meditation.
I keep thinking of that, but I cannot focus all 16 rounds at the lotus feet. I was just laying my head at the Krishna feet and just, this is what I can do. You are so sweet too. Because if I see his lotus feet, I keep washing it. My band is like going everywhere. Then, okay, I'll just be with you, sitting in front of you, looking at you, and chant for you. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for doing this every year and uplifting our devotional service to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You have a question?
My question is regarding sankalpa that we were talking about yesterday. Sometimes, as a preachers, when we have to preach, I'm talking from my experience, is that you have to get ready, read enough of the Prabhupada's book. There is a preaching that you need to do on that. So sometimes, because of the hours that you have to set up, like for personally, I like to make it 2 hours of reading. So I gather up enough knowledge from Prabhupada's books that in case I need to preach, then I have read enough on that also. And other side is completing a round. So sometimes, for the purpose of getting yourself ready for preaching, if it is just chanting, we might find more time if we, can adjust with the reading part. How important is it for us to, adjust along with reading of the Prabhupada's book, because there is so much of Prabhupada's book. If you don't read enough, you will never read them. And between your chanting of the rounds, what type of adjustment do we need to make in the choice of reading and chanting of the rounds.
If I've understood, I'm not sure I understand your question, but if I have understood your question correctly, my response to this question is time management. That is, this is important, that's important, and I value both. And you can add 3 or 4 other things too, your deity worship and and the etc. Big family and relationships and people that are important to you and maintaining. So you can add some miscellaneous or some additional items, but it's time management. And my response to this thing, it's not. You need a plan, and then plans need to be a little flexible according to as time passes. You may need to adjust a little bit more of this, a little bit less of that, or something like that. Or as you mature, your values and points of emphasis may adjust. So the time management principle needs to be a little flexible, but at the same time firm but flexible. And you stay with a good plan until it's clear that it needs some adjusting. And and health and circumstance and so forth dictate adjusting. I mean, here's a for example. For example, Prabhupada, my understanding is he didn't chant all of his rounds during one part of the day. He chanted early, but he also did many other things early, like his studying and Bhaktivedanta purports and everything. And then at other intervals of the day, he would, in a regulated fashion, he would take a break and he'd do his chanting. So to complete his vrata, it was in chunks, not only one. Recently I had a conversation with a godbrother who, due to health reasons and his lifestyle reasons, and his increase of rounds per day on every day of the week, etc. So he has time management standards that are very very customized, different than most people I know. So over time management customized for your needs. Make sure that you have the essentials, and then you manage the time according to your needs. And then when you do that, when you're reading, you're reading. When you're chanting, you're not multitasking, you're chanting. That's an important part of time management. You just stay focused. And then there comes the why question. Because it's the foundation for everything. We'll see as we go along Bhaktisiddhanta's words on how important, how fundamentally important it is. As high as he was in philosophy, he had enormous faith and conviction and commitment to chanting. Both. So time management.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So today, before I started chanting, my main sankalpa was to make Krishna smile. That was one
Make
of your
Krishna smile. Nice.
main points from yesterday. And I was thinking, how do I achieve that? So maybe the step before that is to make sure I chant attentively. And how do I chant attentively? It is by maybe hearing when you chant.
Yes.
And then how do I hear correctly? Then I have to pronounce first. So that making Krishna smile kind of led to working on my pronunciation, hearing, and attentive chanting. So it was very helpful. But soon after, I also realized that, as you mentioned, it's a sine wave. It goes up, goes down.
Yeah.
So there were some times of like where it was up there, but then there were some down times where mind got distracted from that attentive hearing and chanting. But interestingly, I also noticed that when the mind got distracted, sometimes it did think about what I had heard in the last 2 days. So it was spiritual topics and spiritual thoughts. I mean, I'm used to my mind going to like work or something else normally on a daily basis. But because maybe of the back-to-back hearing in the last 2 days, mind was at least going to
those things.
Thoughts, yeah. So it kind of told me that maybe when you attentively hear intentionally, then that might be where your mind goes, even when you're distracted. So I understand that mind is distracted, but maybe it's better than getting distracted by something else. That's one thing I noticed today. And one last thing I want to share is, Yamuna and Prabhu mentioned that we have all created this Krishna-sized hole in our heart because we have forgotten our relationship. So I was thinking about that too, that maybe to backfill that hole, you need to be chanting attentively because only Krishna's name can go fill up that hole. So that's something that I'm trying to work on also. How do I fill back that hole and what do I do about it? And maybe more attentive chanting will be the way to do it.
Well, you're not looking, you're making comments, you're not looking for answers in the moment.
Just
Yeah. One of the big benefits of doing what we're doing this weekend is exactly what you're saying. You know, the tendency of the mind to go to that and the other and something else. That's you know, it's our material conditioning, and then the absorption, to the degree that we have become absorbed, it carries the mind in a different direction. And that you do that incrementally and in a planned way, and that becomes your way of life. Prabhupada's phrase is, you practice at something, it becomes second nature. The second nature, by my understanding of what he meant, is our conditioning is what our conditioning is. And something over there is not what our conditioning is, but you practice and practice, it becomes second nature. You don't have to think about it. I mean, you know, it's not the same as thinking about it. Getting the exercise of getting from point A to point B there's an endeavor with some focus, and then eventually you're at point B, if you have the right method. So you practice and practice. And so therefore, like your comment of the combination of chanting and reading, because you have by your nature and your training, you have a strong impetus for giving Krishna consciousness to others, giving the gift that you have received to others, which is what our founder, that Prabhupada will smile by that effort and that purpose. However it's successful, the effort is what will make Prabhupada smile. So you do that because you've been infected. You know, congratulations. You got the preaching disease, infection. So then the other enables the preaching to be effective. But besides, you have the information from reading and the inspiration from reading, but a heart that has become more pure from chanting, and then the way to stay focused. So the two go together, and our life, our devotional life, is along with our psychophysical nature. This is this verse from the prayers of Lord Brahma to Krishna. It's a verse that's worth memorizing what the words are and remembering it from time to time, or reciting it from time to time, or regularly. The verse is 10:14:3, and it starts Stane Statak. Sthane statak. Stay in your position. Shruti. But engage in hearing from that position. Shruti katam tanavan manobhir. And that's our process. And then the one who follows that process is carried to the goal by the process, by Krishna carrying you to the goal. The principle is quite simple. And being connected to that principle carries you forward on a regular basis, and good association and all those assets or assisting principles. Let's see. Mataji, she's very enthusiastic back there in the corner. Somebody's going to stand up and take her the microphone. Here we go.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for the retreat and the way you guided us with the quotes and with Srila Prabhupada's stories and your experience and everything. It really helped me personally. I thought 64, wow, that's so many, I don't know how will I do it. So prior to coming here, I was meditating and praying that please help me. There are 4 or 5 things came to my mind that I want to chant as if today was my last day, and if I'm leaving, how would I chant? If I leave my body today, that really helped me. And then when you mentioned that quote that I'm here, be present, I'm here, Krishna said, so that helped me. Like if my mind, it didn't wander that much, and if it did, like Prabhuji said, it was remembering all the quotes and the association and other things. So it was favorable. It wasn't like wondering about anything. And I was thinking I don't have to go anywhere, I don't have to do anything, I just have to be present and here. And
pretty simple.
Thank you. And one more thing I want to share. I was thinking, I'm in front of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadraji, Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman, and Srila Prabhupada and all the other deities we have.
It's a very busy altar.
Altar. So, and then your presence, then I'm like, what else? And Tulsi Maharani, I was looking. So I'm like, where else will I find this great combination? If I don't do it now, when will I do it, you know? So it really helped me, and I did finish 64, I did a few more. I thought in case if I messed up in between, if my mind wanders, so I didn't want to count those. Thank you so much, and thank you everybody. Association helped a lot. Hare Krishna.
A little button, the magic button. Just hit the magic button. Give it to a teenager. They'll.
Maybe it's note. Yes. If you play 3, it's note.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I in fact finished more than 64.
Okay.
But I don't consider them as I finished 64. The reason was last night I was not getting sleep. So then I started chanting after midnight.
Really?
Yeah, like I finished about
You can share some of your rounds with somebody that didn't complete.
after 2 hours, and I finished about, within 2 hours I finished about 20 rounds. Then I slept for 4 5 hours. And then I wanted to finish another 64 after that, but I could not finish, but less than 64 I finished. But totally is like more than 64, but I don't consider that as I completed 64 rounds. But every time I was chanting, my mind was going back to somewhere else.
Oh.
It's not somewhere else, in the sense like it's only the ISKCON temples I visited so far within US, like Toronto, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and then New Vrindavan,
Really?
and Busan, and Houston. And this is my primary temple here. But always going back to Toronto. I know the reasons why it is going back to Toronto. But that's what happened to me, Prabhu.
What? Well, you're still with us.
Yeah, but I could not finish 64 rounds after I got out. But total it exceeded. I don't want to claim that one.
It's okay. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Right. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. Well, you get the last one, and then we're going to break. You get ready for Arti.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for your association and this beautiful retreat. This is first time in my life I chanted with full focus, determination, and I finished 64 rounds today, maybe 65. Before that maximum rounds I had chanted 25. And recently I was struggling even finishing 16, means I was doing 16, but I was thinking where my focus went. So I'm so glad I did not even think about that I have iPhone with me. I forgot about my phone.
Really?
I realized it was a big distraction for me in everyday life. So thank you so much for your inspiration. And I thought that if you have a set goals, whole day my focus was just that I have to finish this chanting with focus and with determination. I did not feel like going anywhere else, no unnecessary thoughts came into my mind, and I felt very calm and peaceful today. And just thank you so much for your association and your inspiration. Thank you.
Well, all of your participation made the experience rich and, robust. And, you can give credit to everybody else, and I'll give credit to all of you that came and participated as enthusiastically and consistently. There were some necessities, this and that and the other thing, some persons had to take care of. But the Sangha makes some strength. Now, my understanding is, this is just moving on to the next activity. I was told when I walked in the door, there's a number of devotees with us this evening from San Diego. If you're a San Diego person, can you raise your hand? Okay. Way back there. Haribol. So, thank you for coming. The two brahmacharis, they're not here. They left. Traveling Sankirtan or something? They're dedicated. Okay. Well, it was nice to have them here also. So thank you all for coming, and, until we meet again, huh? So let's get ready for Kirtan, the arti. The clock doesn't tell the right time. Don't bother with that clock. There's 4 minutes, and the arti will begin shortly. So let's get ready. Who is going to be the Kirtan singer for the Gaura Arti? You're going to be the Kirtan singer? Yeah. Okay, so let's begin. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
நீ பண்ணு